Hi, my name is Eric Little, and I want to thank you for tuning in and for going to ericlittlespeaks.com. I'm so excited to have you on my site and have you kind of perusing and seeing what I'm all about. But one of the things that I want you to know about me is that I'm a person that is driven to make sure that I do everything in my power to see that every human being that I come in contact with comes into the full understanding of who they're supposed to be. My goal is to see you emerge. And that's not a tagline, that is a passion that has driven me since the day I saw a speaker. Just for the sake of this moment, I'm gonna say his name was Mr. Destiny. I was playing marbles at the John H. Bridges Community Center. And those from the Central Florida area, and especially those from the small city of Apopka that I was born and raised in, would know exactly the place I'm talking about. I was playing marbles during the summertime. We were out of school, and just wanted to share a little bit about myself. I was playing marbles, and all of a sudden, over the loudspeaker, the director said, they wanted all of the students and all of the kids to come in because they had a special speaker that was going to be talking with us on that day. And of course, like any 12 or 11 or 10-year-old who at the time was more interested in playing games than hearing somebody come and try to inspire me, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to come, but I came reluctantly. I entered into the auditorium where all of us were seated, not really knowing what to expect. I had never heard of a motivational speaker. I had never heard of someone that would stand before me and try to give me some words of encouragement. I didn't know what that was going to be like, but he started to talk. And as he started to talk, I started to realize that me and this very educated man, this man who was definitely in a place that I was shooting to reach. He was successful. He had just married the lead anchor woman on our local Channel 6. I can't remember. I don't want to put his name out there or her name out there, but it was a very well-noted woman that he married, and he was well-known in the Central Florida area. So he came, he's talking about family. He was talking about oneness and community and talking about love and all the things that are essentially important for us if we're going to regain some form of humanity, some form of dignity in this day and time that we live in. We're going to have to master a better understanding of love. We're going to have to come into a better understanding of unity, and we're going to have to come into a better understanding of our own self-value and self-worth if we're going to really make some strides in this day and time that we're living in. So he was talking about that. And he began to mention that he was born and raised from a large family, a family of 12. And I was like, wow, I was born from a family of 8. And I was kind of ashamed to admit that I was born from a family of 8. And it's kind of sad for me to say this, but my own father, when I heard him give a response to someone who asked how many children he had, and he was not too happy about that, and so I wasn't too happy about it. I felt a little bit shame for people to ask me how many brothers and sisters that I had. So when I heard this man say he had 12 brothers and sisters, and he came up from hard times, he came up in the neighborhood, or the hood for some of you who understand what I'm saying, and he didn't always have, this family didn't always have or know how they was going to eat, and they had to have hand-me-down clothes, and all this stuff connected with me in a way like I did not ever think this man would connect with me as a preteen. And he began to talk about destiny. He began to talk about coming into your own. that no matter how you start, where you start out at, you can come into your own if you keep your head up and you keep moving forward and you don't let the things around you distract you. You don't let the things around you pull you down like crabs in a bucket, but you do everything you can to keep moving forward, to make yourself better, to do better than what you've seen, to do better than those that came before you. You have it within you to do better if you set your mind to it. That's what his message was to me. And I was so moved by this man's presentation. He sang, he quoted poetry. I had a lot of gifts and abilities myself as a child. So this man became a living, breathing example of what I could become. And I did not know until that day of what I was supposed to do. And from that moment, I knew that I wanted to be a motivational speaker, that I wanted to be someone that became a social adjutant, someone that moved into chaotic situations and brought life, someone that moved into a blank canvas situation. And I like to call the teenagers today and the young people today blank canvases that need to know how to stroke their hand and their gifts and their abilities so that they can paint a picture in the future for themselves that's much brighter than what they see on TV, that's much brighter than Black Lives Matter, that's much brighter than all of the things that have happened in our current time. And so that is what fueled me to start moving in this direction. I remember the first time I ever thought about writing a book, and my dad had made a sentiment to me and my brother that you guys are not smart enough to write a book report. How are you going to write a book? He was joking, but that cut a little bit deep into both of us. And I'm very excited to say that, I use that as a form of motivation. And if you want to learn more about what I'm talking about, more about Mr. Destiny, because there's much more to that story than I can tell you right now, because I want to be respectful of your time. I have a book that I published. If you look around on the website and go to resources, you click on that button above, you're going to see some of my recent books that I've published. And the book that I talk in more detail about Mr. Destiny is a book called Mr. Can't Get Right. I used to be that guy that just couldn't get it right. And now that I've come into the knowledge of who I am in Christ, I've come into a knowledge of purpose and destiny, I'm now at a place where I'm ready to engage you. I'm ready to see you emerge. I'm ready to see you become. Because it's not good enough just for me to become, but you have to become. These are the things that drive Eric Little. These are the reasons why Eric Little speaks. These are the reasons why Eric Little speaks to singles and Eric Little speaks to teenagers and youth, because I believe that the next generation is so important, and we cannot, regardless of how they look or how they act, we can't let them go. We have to hold on to them and love them and fight to the very last breath in our body to see that they become who they're supposed to become, even if they resist the truth that they need to hear in order to become. I want to see them inspired, and I want to see you as singles. I want to see you rise above the expectation of just getting married. I want to see you rise above the expectation of just having a good job, of just having a good house, or just having a good career. And I want to see you emerge and become who God has intended for you to become. I want you to know that your life is important and is valuable. I just wanted to take some time to talk a little bit about who I am, and thank you for coming to my website. This is Eric Little, and together I want to see you emerge and come into who God has called you to be. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll be coming back on a weekly basis just to touch bases with you. Peace.